Dr. Sene, and here is a warm welcome to my channel. Hey guys, have you heard of people who were nice, helpful, polite, and well-behaved suddenly becoming dangerously violent? This is a story of a well-behaved, courteous, nice guy becoming a dangerous killer. He was Charles Raymond Starkweather, and he was born on 24th November in 1938 in Lincoln, Nebraska, US, and he became a dangerous young man. Guys, before we go into the details, for those who are new around here, I post videos weekly, usually twice or three times a week, on love stories, true crime, celebrity news, and all kinds of other stuff that I get very excited about sharing with you all. And guys, this is a story of horror and murder. Therefore, viewer discretion is advised, and it is not recommended for any viewers under the age of 18. Thank you. Let's get into this straight away. Who was Charles Starkweather? He was an American spree killer who murdered 11 people in Nebraska and Wyoming between December 1957 and January 1958. By the time he was only 19 years old. He killed 10 of his victims between January 21st and January 29th, 1958. And 29 January was the date of his arrest. During his killing spree in 1958, Starkweather was accompanied by his 14-year-old girlfriend, Caril Ann Fugate. I hope you heard me, guys, when I mentioned to you that she was 14 years old at the time. Both Starkweather and Fugate were convicted on charges for their parts in the homicides. Starkweather was sentenced to death and executed 17 months after the events. His girlfriend Caril Ann Fugate served 17 years in prison until she was released in 1976. I need to mention also that Starkweather's execution by electric chair in 1959 was the last execution in Nebraska until 1994. Guys, troubled kids are often the consequence of dysfunctional childhoods. Charles Starkweather was born in Lincoln, Nebraska to a working class family as the third of 7 children of Guy and Helen Starkweather. His father, Guy, was a mild-mannered carpenter who was often unemployed due to suffering rheumatoid arthritis in his hands. During Guy's periods of unemployment, Helen supplemented the family's income working as a waitress. Sounds pretty normal, right? Starkweather attended Saratoga Elementary School, Irving Junior High School, and Lincoln High School. Charles Starkweather later recalled nothing positive of his time at school. He was born with a mild birth defect that caused his legs to be misshapen. He also suffered from a speech impediment, which led to constant teasing by classmates. So, his school life was a sad one. As he grew older and stronger, the only subject which Starkweather excelled in was gym, where he found a physical outlet for his rage, frustration against those who bullied him. Little by little, Charles Starkweather was building up rage and hatred towards the people who were bullying him. And these emotions kept growing and kind of started to overwhelm him eventually, making Starkweather begin to hate and bully those who once picked on him. Guys, bullying in schools is a very sad crime in our world. This has got to stop. Bullying affects victims in a terrible way. Their personalities change in horrible ways. This is wrong. I will be doing a few stories for you on bullying in school, guys, that totally ruin and completely destroy the lives of some students. Back to Charles. This usually calm and well-behaved teenager began to feel this rage, uncontrollable hate against anyone who bullied him, making him, the young teenager Starkweather, go from being one of the most well-behaved teenagers in the community to one of the most troubled. His high school friend Bob Von Bush would later recall. He could be the kindest person you ever seen. He would do anything for you if he liked to. He was a hell of a lot of fun to be around too. Everything was just one big joke to him. But he had this other side. He could be mean as hell, cruel. If he saw some poor guy on the street who was bigger than he was, better looking or better dressed, he'd try to take the poor bastard down to his size. Guys, see how his personality has changed, making him an angry, very cruel young man? We don't know for sure, but maybe the bullying played a big part in his change. Quite possible, I believe. Now, you must be wondering how he met the 13-year-old girl, Caril Ann Fugate. In 1956, the 18-year-old Starkweather was introduced to 13-year-old Caril Ann Fugate by her older sister, whom he had been previously dating. After being banished from his parental home due to conflicts with his parents, he became a garbage collector for minimum wages. Soon, Starkweather was becoming angry at the whole world. His first murder was the killing of Robert Colbert, a service station attendant in Lincoln, for refusing to sell him a stuffed animal on credit. Starkweather killed him with a shot to the head. In 1958, Fugate's mother and stepfather, Velda and Marion Bartlett, told him to stay away from Caril Ann. Starkweather shot them, then strangled and stabbed to death their 2-year-old daughter, Betty Jean. He had hidden the bodies behind the house. Starkweather and Fugate then went on a crazy killing spree. He killed 70-year-old August Mayer, who lived in Bennett, Nebraska, with a shotgun blast to the head. He also killed Mayer's dog. Fleeing the area, the crazed pair drove their car into mud and abandoned the vehicle. When 2 local teenagers, Robert Jensen and Carol King, stopped to give them a ride, Starkweather shot and killed them both. Oh my God! Starkweather later admitted shooting Jensen, but claimed that Fugate shot Carol King. You know, the 2 teenagers. Oh! The 2 were crazy and were on a high as they fled Bennett in their murder victim Robert Jensen's car. Driving to a wealthy section of Lincoln, they entered the home of industrialist C. Lowell Ward and his wife Clara. Starkweather stabbed their maid Lillian Fency to death, then waited for Lowell and Clara to return home. Starkweather killed the family dog by breaking its neck to keep it from alerting the wards. I'm sorry guys, as animal lovers, this is really heart-wrenching. Clara arrived first alone and then was also stabbed to death by Caril Ann Fugate, who stabbed her numerous times. When Lowell Ward returned home that evening, Starkweather shot and killed him. Starkweather and Fugate filled Ward's black 1956 Packard with stolen jewelry from the house and fled Nebraska. The murders of the Wards and Fencer caused an uproar within Lancaster County. Law enforcement agencies in the region sent their officers on a house-to-house search for the perpetrators. Governor Victor Emanuel Anderson contacted the Nebraska National Guard, and the Lincoln Chief of Police called for a block-by-block search of that city. After several sightings of Starkweather and Fugate were reported, the Lincoln Police Department was accused of incompetence for being unable to capture the pair. Needing a new car because Ward's Packard had been identified, the couple came upon traveling salesman Merle Collison, sleeping in his Buick along the highway outside Douglas, Wyoming. Charles fatally shot Collison. At that moment, Natrona County Sheriff's Deputy William Romer arrived on the scene. Caril Ann Fugate had to run to him, yelling something to the effect of, "It's Starkweather, he's going to kill me." Starkweather drove off and was involved in a car chase with 3 officers, Natrona County Sheriff's Deputy Officer William Romer, Douglas Police Chief Robert Ensley, and Converse County Sheriff Earl Helvin, exceeding speeds of 260 kilometers per hour. A bullet fired by Sheriff Earl Helvin shattered the windshield and flying glass cut Starkweather deep enough to cause bleeding. He stopped and surrendered. When Starkweather was first taken to the Nebraska Penitentiary after his trial, he said that he believed that he was supposed to die. He said that if he was to be executed, then Caril Ann Fugate should be also. He was sentenced to death and executed by the electric chair at Nebraska State Penitentiary in Lincoln, Nebraska at 12:04 a.m. on June 25th, 1959. Guys, he was 20 years old. Starkweather was buried in White Car Cemetery in Lincoln. Fugate was convicted as an accomplice and received a life sentence on November 21st, 1958. She was paroled in June 1976 after serving 17 and a half years at Nebraska Correctional Center for Women in York, Nebraska. She settled in Lansing, Michigan. Guys, this roller coaster of violence just takes our breath away. Can you even begin to understand this crazy killing spree, guys? Oh my God. Leave your comments in the comments box and hope you subscribe and give me a like. Thank you, guys. Bye.